afternoon, my viewers. The truth has only one color. If it is black, it is black. If it is true, it is true. So there are no sentiments on Real Talk, but it's the first Tuesday in the month of August. Welcome to Real Talk with Kike. And I must say, I hope you all remember that we're live, direct, and authoritative. And when it's authoritative, it is Real Talk. And I must use this opportunity to welcome my co-host. How you doing, my house husband? How you doing? Let me start with you. I wish we can give the viewers a tip of our song before we came on air. And our song was somebody's auntie. Our mother was jealous of us.
You can see the white and blue.
Color blocking.
You know what I'm saying? Welcome, guys. That's how we do it when we're not on air. We have lots of fun. But when we're on air, it's Real Talk. We keep it real here, giving you all the gist that you need, all the sides and all the facts. I'm not alone, as she has said, the pilot, and we are co-hosting with her. Of course, I am introducing one and only FO.
EFO. You're welcome, viewer. It's nice to have you back on our program again today. And today you're here with us with Ebony and Ivory.
That's a nice one. All right, it's time for our On This Date in History. Let's see what the history has got to remind us again. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day in history, the 3rd of August, 1996, exactly 25 years ago, Nigeria won Africa's first ever Olympic gold medal in men's football. Africa's dream of winning a FIFA World Cup and FIFA Confederations Cup is yet to be realized, but Nigeria took the bold step on the 3rd of August 1996 to win Africa's first ever Olympic gold medal in football. It was a memorable day for Nigerians and Africa as a whole. Kanu Nwankwo, who just finished winning the UEFA Champions League with Ajax in 1995, captained the blend of golden generation to beat Argentina in the final of the men's football event.
Exactly 25 years ago, on this day in history. At least there's still a little bit of positivity attached to this. Efo, what's your take on it?
I think that was really historic. Yeah, and when it comes to the game of football, Nigerians are one family, under one roof. You won't remember the region you're from, at that time. That was really historic. And we still owe it to the boys at that time. They were boys, they're men now, boys to men. So we say kudos to them wherever they may be in the world. And we're really so proud of them. If no one is proud of them, Real Talk with Kike team, we're proud of you guys. Okay, Marshall.
Okay, well, that leaves a little bit of sukkah and the taste of Nigerians who are reeling from the disappointments in the Olympics right now. Nigeria has really, I would say, has been left out of the victory category. Totally lost, and Nigerians are really, really bitter about that. So Kike reminding us on this day in history what happened many years ago, 25 years ago precisely, gives us a little bit of, tiny bit of hope to say not all is lost. Yeah.
All right. On that note, I think the only thing I might want to add to that is the fact that Segun Odegbami was on this show, and I remember vividly how he emphasized on past glories and how we all can do better and try to appoint people in that corridor of power, those who have something connected to sports, those who will be able to add value to it, not just I'm picking people. Do you understand? And I think those are the challenges that we're facing today that is not making every one of us still say that, we can do this again. You know what? So I don't keep going back and forth because the Present Minister of Sports is my brother. Last year, news broke that the famous Instagram celebrity Hush Puppy was arrested in Dubai and later extradited to USA for crimes of fraud and multiple online scams. Little did we know that there was more to it. Fast forward to Friday, 29th of August 2021 to be precise, exactly a year later, twists and secrets have been unfolded after a series of investigations taking place in the U.S. According to Sahara reporters, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has alleged that the money laundering suspect Rahman Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy, paid 8 million naira, approximately, I think that's like $20,000, over $20,000 to the suspected Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, as a bribe for the arrest and detention of a co-conspirator. Maybe that's the word to use, you know, that's Chibuzo Kelly Vincent. While there are many contention and interest to the ongoing case, the biggest of the argument now is the extradition request made by the FBI to the federal government for Abba Kyari to answer to the allegation made by Hush Puppy in the U.S. On the show today, we will be having a discussion with our guest on the extradition request, its legality, and a number of political interests attached to the whole saga. On set with me, we will be discussing the legal consequences surrounding the case, as Nigerian attorney is a Nigerian attorney and a public affairs analyst. He is a social commentator whose expert and legal views have reliable backings from the law and constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Librous, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today, and I must say you look handsome as always. I love your blue, sky blue.
Thank you.
Pretty well, and I love the touch of yellow on it. Oh gosh.
Thank you. I'm trying to be like you.
Nice combo.
Librous, tread carefully.
That's his wife on set.
I know, Masha,
Chief wife.
But you know, I know. I would.
Thank you.
Calm down, calm down for Jesus.
See who was talking about jealousy.
All right, guys, diving straight into the topic at hand. I know that the past, few days have been filled with series of events, you know, concerning the Abba Kyari and Hush Puppy case. So I must ask you, let's start with the request of the FBI of extradition of the DCP. So is it legal, number one? I think that's the first question I want to know. And under the law, for an allegation that is under investigation, can there be a possible extradition from Nigeria?
Yes, it's legal, to answer your question directly.
Okay.
First and foremost, the extradition law, extradition treaty between Nigeria and the United States, I think dates back to 70-something.
Okay.
And but one thing I am not sure of is if by virtue of Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution, implementation of treaties, says no treaty between the Federation and any country shall have the force of law, except to the extent to which such treaty has been enacted into law by the National Assembly. And so, but I can, from events, we can conclude that this treaty had been enacted into law because we remember, sometimes 2 years back, Buruji Kashamu's extradition was requested by the FBI. And the federal government made every possible step, took every possible step to extradite him to United States until he went to court, fought it till the man died. And so, if we have to look at all of these facts and issues, what can be safe to say? That treaty had been enacted and accepted as part of the bodies of our laws. So on that note, it is legal to request for any person that is presumed to have committed an offense, you know, in the United Nations, United States, United Nations, even in Dubai, they can request for. If you remember that of Ibori allegedly committed these crimes until he was convicted in the UK. He was arrested in Dubai and immediately, boom, he was extradited to the United Kingdom. Hush Puppy's own he was also arrested in Dubai and sent to America. And so for Abba Kyari, this matter is under investigation in the UK, in America, and there is allegation, the prima facie case has been established against him over there. And so that's why they are requesting for him to come answer to these allegations. And so it is not, the matter is not under investigation here. What the Nigerian police is simply doing here is setting up a committee to look into these allegations that have been made against one of their own, which is okay, which is normal. whether to accede to the requests or not, which is, in all force with the practice and procedures of the Nigerian police. But, like we always say here, maybe the next few days will reveal what would happen. Maybe some person might encourage him to go to court to challenge that position if need be.
What's the political consequence? Because we've heard in just recent days people arguing that it will be a political shame, it will be a slap on the political elites if one of our very finest, I mean, let's give it to him, Abba Kyari, one of the Nigerian police very finest, very, very well decorated, is extradited to United States to face criminal charges, such criminal charges. What's the political consequence?
Let me use the word, when you use the word finest, Hush Puppy was one of the very finest
criminals
in Nigeria, and as far as social media is concerned.
Yes, true.
You know, he had 2.5 million followers, you know, on Instagram.
Okay.
And so he was, if you look at it, he was some people's role model. Obi Invictus also was the toast of the town when it comes to investment banking in Nigeria. You know, but these people are in jail in America. So it is not, it's different from here, this country, where people say because you've been decorated, and so if you commit a crime, then we should look at...
Let it slide.
Yes, let it slide. Let's look at, you know, what you have done. There are people also who have allegations against Abba Kyari. It's just the way our police is. I can tell you, because I handle police matters, I can tell you that you cannot have a petition approved by the Nigerian police without parting with something.
Yes.
They'll tell you, you need to pay for approval of petition. You also need to mobilize.
You need to pay for the paper.
Yes.
You pay for everything.
Yes. And so, I would also, to some extent, excuse the police because they are underfunded largely. I can tell you that the average police station gets 15,000 naira monthly as interest. Yes, quote me, and I'm on international platform. 15,000 naira monthly and 1,000 naira to fare patrol vehicle. And this money never comes. It never comes. So, our system of investigation also here, it's what you can say it's upside down. That's why Abba Kyari could arrest without investigation. In other societies, once an accusation is levied, the first step would be, just like the EFCC, if you write a petition against anybody, before the EFCC will invite you, they would have investigated, crossed their T's and dot their I's. And so when you get there, they'll confront you with the proof of evidence. But for the police, it is not like that. You'll be arrested. The moment there's a petition against you, you are presumed guilty. Contrary to the provision of the Constitution, you are presumed guilty. It is now left for you to prove your innocence in detention. And that's why Abba Kyari could arrest somebody on a complaint, phone call. Oh, he wants to remove food from my mouth. And then you said, I'm quoting his defense now, that there was a threat to life allegation. And you didn't bother to investigate whether actually, indeed, there was a threat, and then you're arrested. So when we look at all of these issues, can we truly say at this, yes, he's won a lot of accolade, he sent some big-time criminals to jail, but in a country where you have finance police people that have not yet seen that limelight, can you indeed say this is our finest? I would disagree that. I will not, beat my chest to say these are our finest, but he's one of the most decorated, police officer in Nigeria. But it is not political. This has nothing to do with the politics of APC, PDP, or the federal government. What basically has happened here, and I like the fact that, I like the way the police and the Police Service Commission has handled this.
Then where would you keep Yarima's claims and threats to the Nigerian elites saying that nothing should happen to Abba Kyari? And
these are, you see, when it's quite unfortunate that when things like this happen, people begin to make inciting statements and want to introduce political element into it. Already you see some people protesting up north as if it's the north against the south. As if it is one politician that indicted Abba Kyari. No, this has nothing to do with politics. Basically what has happened here is that the man, brought this upon himself.
Okay.
He brought this upon himself. He admitted. Yeah. And I expected that he ought to have even discussed with his lawyer. before putting out that statement that he hurriedly put out. Okay. But typical of Nigerian police investigation here, no strategy. You admit that, yes, I know this man who's been jailed for fraud, that he got in touch with me, that somebody was threatening his life, and you didn't investigate. But you see, that's why we need to be careful. Because to them, they don't investigate. They arrest you and ask you to come. That's their police investigation here starts from arrest. But over there, before you are arrested, they had concluded investigation. So he needed to have waited for the proof of evidence against him before responding. So the moment he denied, what they just did was to throw the proof of evidence in the public domain. And then all the statements, all the conversation, the telephone conversations were in the open. So at that point, what do you now say to the earlier allegations or defense that you wrote? It's quite shameful.
Yeah, it is. I think it's quite shameful, because my point here now is from the things we have read, the things we have heard, it appears that the allegations against him, are overwhelming to an extent.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I also agree with you. If we say you disagree that he's the finest, he couldn't be the finest. Just maybe one of them. He was good at his job. But he should have been better informed, knowing that you are the law, protector of the law, more like, how would you be hobnobbing with somebody whose wealth is questionable?
In Nigeria, nobody asks you how you made your money.
Yes.
So that for me, I think this Abba Kyari's issue should rather be a time for sober reflection for all of us. Here, people give chieftaincy titles to people whose wealth are questionable.
Yes.
We celebrate people because they are rich, not minding how they made their money.
Very true.
You send young girls to go source for deposits, not minding how they get these deposits. Parents beg their way for their kids, and you see lecturers would blackmail students for marks, and at the end of the day, until you are caught, you are celebrated.
Yes.
And so that's why some of these persons think they can do these things
and
get away with it. Especially, we live in a society where there are no consequences for actions and inactions. So the moment you are a uniform person, that's why people will tell you that we have a military mentality. The moment you're a uniform person, you feel you're untouchable. Nobody can touch you. You can't, If this had happened in Nigeria, I can tell you that the next thing, just like Yerima is reading politics into it, people would have read politics into it, and the matter would have died down. That defense would have been enough. But because it's happened somewhere else, and the amount involved here, we don't know if there's any amount beyond the 300,000 naira that he admitted. The amount involved is immaterial. For them, it's anytime you talk about fraud, you travel abroad now, the moment you bring out your green passports in America, you are a suspect.
You're a suspect.
So, and that has become very notorious. And so for them, anything that will make them, catch the bigger thieves that are in government, they will go after it. And so, if you are a government official, especially being the head of an intelligence unit, and when people talk about intelligence, I think we really don't understand what intelligence is here. If he understands the meaning of that office that he occupies, that's what they just did to him.
Yes.
So if he understands, you'll be very careful the way you relate. It's like a judge.
Exactly.
It's like a judge. You'll be very careful the way you relate with people. But unfortunately, we don't know what intelligence gathering is here. So you are a head of intelligence team simply because you are close to somebody who knows somebody. So whether you know what intelligence gathering is all about, you don't care. And so you use your office, you abuse your office, and then once you are caught, they say, oh, let it go. He's one of the most decorated.
No.
Or he's...
All right, Librous, I hear you. And I must say that I think I want to come from the angle of the EFCC now. Okay. Because I know that the EFCC was instituted under the Obasanjo regime to see the crimes-related issues to, how will I put it now, to fraud on economic and financial basis. So my question now is, why has the Anti-Graft Commission, you know, surrounded its jurisdiction by handing over Abba Kyari's case to the Nigerian police? Why do you think that is happening?
Ordinarily, the EFCC's job is the Nigerian police job. If you had an effective policing, what you should have why was EFCC set up? I think it was a request by the international, Americans specifically, by Interpol on recovery of looted funds, economic crimes, especially as regards advanced fee frauds. And so when that office was set up, it was ordinarily, if we had an effective police, that ought to have been a special unit of the Nigerian police. That's why over time, you know, when EFCC started, they were headed by a police officer. And so here, the investigation here didn't originate from Nigeria. There's nobody is investigating Abba Kyari in Nigeria.
Exactly.
There is no petition against Abba Kyari with EFCC. The petition against Abba Kyari is the fact that there's a relationship between him and Hush Puppy and Vincent Chibuzo as regards the fraud that happened in Dubai, in Qatar. And so, when in the course of investigation, everybody whose name appeared and who had a relationship with Hush Puppy and Vincent will be invited. And especially a head of an intelligence unit in the security agencies, just the way Americans will not take it lightly with their police hobnobbing with drug addicts, drug barons and fraudsters. They also won't take it lightly when, you know, the head of such team, you know, or a senior police officer from another country is involved in such. If you remember, there was a time when some Nigerian House of Rep members went for a leadership training in America, and there were allegations that they solicited for
commercial sex
workers.
Yes, I remember.
Ordinarily, it ought not to have been a big deal, but they raised red flag because these are leaders. You know, to whom much is given, much is expected. So these are people they sponsored to come participate in a leadership training that occupies, you know, high office. So there's a level of behavior that is expected of them. So in the same vein, there's a level of behavior that is expected of somebody heading an intelligence unit. So that's why there is a request for him to come answer to some questions. So it has nothing to do with EFCC investigating a crime against Abba Kyari. So what the Police Service Commission simply did is, we set up a four-man committee, let us find out if truly these allegations are strong enough, and then, but pending the investigation, you go on suspension.
All right. No, you know, I agree with your submission, but I must speak from what you said earlier regarding the lawyers, you know, wanting to defend him from, because I know that from a defensive point of view, it is said that Abba Kyari's lawyer may want to defend him, saying he collected money from the supposed Hush Puppy and all of that. But as an expert attorney, I must ask you, do you think that would work, considering the fact that there is high level of intel and this classification that the FBI has come to expose to the public? Do you think that would work?
You see, what they might be challenging in court will not be because the matter is not instituted here.
Yes.
They will not be challenging what the culpability of Abba Kyari here. What they will be challenging
is extradition.
The extradition will be Section 12 that I read to you just now. That, you know, here we say windmill of justice grinds slowly but surely. But we forget that justice delayed is justice denied. So they might just want to throw spanners in the works. You know, just clog the process so that the man will not be sent to America, because there's every tendency that if he gets there with the evidence they already have, he might just be facing jail time. So the longer you keep him here, since there's no allegation against him here, the better for him. So like Buruji Kashamu, challenge the process in court, and then the government will say, well, the matter is in court, and so we can't do otherwise until the court decides. And then look at the case of Desiani also in the UK. the EFCC had been calling for her extradition to Nigeria. But she has gone to court in the UK. And so pending the determination of the issues in court, they won't release her. So Nigeria will just say the same thing, that, well, since the matter is in court, there is a...
let's await the determination of the...
Don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now. And of course, you can comment on our social media platform as well. Remember that we are streaming live on Silverbird YouTube page, and of course on Real Talk with Kike YouTube page and Facebook page, so you can be part of this conversation. But before we go on, Marshall, let me let you...
Okay, let me hand the baton this time around, because she has a follow-up.
I just wanted to follow up on what you said, saying that Nigeria is a sovereign state.
Yeah.
We're looking at our government now. We're not looking at the polity of the nation. Don't you think it would be appropriate for Abba Kyari? It's a difficult one. Don't you think it would be in his best interest to go answer to the charges that are against him right now as we speak?
You know, in
I'm
Nigeria,
saying this because of the integrity of our country.
Let me be a bit comical here.
Okay.
Ordinarily, Nigerians would we all want visas to go abroad, to go to America. This is an open visa to Abba Kyari. So if I were in his shoes, I would simply pack my bags, write the embassy and said, please, when do you want me? I want to come answer to this.
Yeah, definitely.
But like they say in law, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Yes.
If you know that your hands are not clean. You can't just pack your bags and say, I'm going to face that fire, because you know fully well that your hands are not clean. Once you get there might be other revelations that they didn't even show you.
Which of course they have said.
Yes,
there's a mention of that already.
That once you come, because you don't even know the extent of the conversation that they have. So you wouldn't want to just go walk into that fire. You want to take your time, use your judicial abracadabra here to challenge the process, and then now see how...
Because it's a test case.
I'm sorry, I might have to interrupt your line of thought. We have a caller from Benin, Isosa. Many thanks for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand? Please remember to reduce the volume of your TV sets when you're calling. Please go ahead, Isosa. Yeah, go ahead and make your contribution. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We can.
I'm calling about this Abba Kyari and the Oshoma. You see, in this country we are, things are not done right. And for a security person, you have to be meeting with crime and fraudsters is improper and need to face the law.
Have to let that go. The network is a bit erratic. I don't think that we could get the words together.
We would advise our callers to please turn down your volume of your TV set so we don't have this kind of interruptions.
So, Librous, I must ask you, because I know that the DCP, Abba Kyari himself had, how will I put it now, forewarned with the high-ranking officers in Nigerian police and, of course, the politicians as well in this country. I feel that, as far as I'm concerned, it would implicate others, whether we like it or not, and the future links to the secret of the notable figures in the system will also be stained because of what is happening right now. So what is the gravity of the case at hand, especially when it's linked to our top leaders and all the police officers right now?
That's a cheap blackmail.
Okay.
That's, for me, is a cheap blackmail that Abba Kyari might have information about most of our politicians, and so if they allow him go, they might probably... That's a cheap blackmail to keep him here. The allegations against you...
But what if he knows where all the dead bodies are buried?
The allegations against you is not about the dead bodies. Nobody's investigating dead bodies. You see, the NSAS, this was like some of the issues that the NSAS protest raised. Abba Kyari was head of the anti-robbery unit in Lagos here.
Yes.
And their modus operandi, it's something that is far from modernity. And so these were some of the issues raised by people. Yes, for the fact that you suspect that somebody, or there's allegation against somebody, still give him the benefit of that. The Constitution presumes him innocent. Investigate. But no, once I have money, I write a petition against you. And mind you, a lawyer will write the petition. Some of them that are criticizing Abba Kyari today will write that petition. And then, no matter how frivolous, because the NBA won't do anything. And so, in some cases, magistrate will grant orders, search warrants, arrest orders, even without, seeing the facts. So when all of these things happens, and then you have, in some cases, you go to anti-robbery session, even as a lawyer, to have access to your client, it's a problem. You are intimidated. So when these things happen, when you are in problems like this, nobody will want to, listen to anything. So for me, these are cheap blackmail, or maybe might have information about politicians. The question is, there's alleged relationship between you and Hush Puppy, which you have even admitted that he called you to levy allegation. Is that the way we call the Nigerian police to levy allegation against somebody? And they immediately arrest the person. And then you now want to release the person. You are seeking the permission of the complainant to release that person. That's also
we've seen cases.
It's an abuse of office.
We've seen allegations leveled against him. Though in one of your statements, you did say that he's not being investigated for another matter. Yeah, but in October of 2020, we had Moji, the businessman, who leveled allegations against Abba Kyari, and owing to the fact that he said 41 million naira plus was extorted from him. We saw how that went. Isn't this the time that would have the legal system look into some of these cases that Abba Kyari himself had handled and spearheaded?
I told you that there is no exception. Even the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, if you investigate him, probably had done the same thing that Abba Kyari is alleged to have done. Yes. They all do it. Yes. So nobody will dare. That is where you now say Abba Kyari might have more than enough information. The moment Nigerian police decide to investigate Abba Kyari for all of these allegations, that's when you can say, oh, look, this man will open a can of worms. So they won't dare it. They won't do it because they all do it. The IG, maybe as a police commissioner, as a DCP, also, dispense favor to some persons that he know. There are some persons who know, the commissioner, you take a petition straight to him. And the commissioner will call one of his boys and say, please,
go and pick this person
up. And they just go arrest you and bring you. It is not for you to prove your innocence. And then you get your own lawyer, you get to police station. In some cases, you now begin to, negotiate.
I'm really glad that you touched on this. And I think with what we've seen thus far, it's obvious that Fani Kayode has more patriotic stance, especially when it comes to his own request, that saying that there must be due diligence in the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho, and nothing stops us from defending Abba Kyari as well. So would you urge Nigerians to stay or to know what side to take on this current saga, knowing that the likes of Femi Fani Kayode have come out to want to, say, what, I'm a patriotic Nigerian.
You see, if you look at it from that side, if the coins were flipped...
Apologies that I might have to interrupt your line of thought. We have Chidima from Port Harcourt calling. Chidi, many thanks for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand? Please go straight to the point. Go straight to the point.
Hello, Chidi. We can hear you.
Yeah, Chidi, please go ahead.
All right. Taking a look of what's happening currently in the country. All right. I think Abba Kyari should just face the law. I think he should face the law.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Librous.
Yeah. So, if the coin were flipped, there is no way America will send one of theirs to you here to come face charges. They will tell you that their criminal justice system or their judicial system is more effective.
It's credible enough.
And that is credible enough. And then they will investigate the matter, and if the person is culpable, they will bring him to book. But the difference here is that here, with all of these allegations and with allegations of, I listened to a video of a friend of mine, Akibolu, a petition he wrote against Abba Kyari. With all of those, you would have expected that Nigerian government would activate the instrumentality of the law to investigate some of these allegations. So in the absence of that, I would not want to be blindly patriotic to say, look, leave him. It's because it's Nigeria, leave him. There are Nigerians are complaining also that this man also had, you know, the allegations against him. Somebody talked about the chief 41 million that was fraudulently and you know, collected from him. And so when you look at all of these things, in other society, probably his taxes would have been investigated, his source of income. If you go to a land that is even deleted all the photographs of cars and houses.
That's his younger brother.
His younger brother. So you now begin to ask, what do these people do to flaunt this kind of words? So these are the questions that other people would genuinely ask. How was Hush Puppy investigated? What does this guy do to have so much money?
Exactly.
You know, so that was what even triggered the investigation. So that's why those people can tell you that our system is credible enough to investigate the matter. That's why in the case of Desiani, they will tell you that you have not met the required threshold that we have here. Your proof of evidence is not substantial enough for us to believe that this person will get fair trial in your country.
All right, apologies, I might have to interrupt your line of thought again. We have Moses calling from Abuja. Moses, please go straight to the point, and apologies for holding you that long. Yeah. Go ahead, Moses. We can hear you. Oh, I can't hear you yet.
You can hear me?
Can hear you now.
Okay. I think that Buhari should go to village.
You think what?
What are we seeing today?
All right, I have to let that go.
He said Buhari should go to. We're not investigating. We're not talking about. He should
go to the village.
Yes,
Oh,
the village.
really?
Okay. This has nothing to do with Buhari.
Absolutely.
Well, you see, all of these. I want to take a lead in from the question she just asked, because all of these border on extradition laws and treaties between we've signed in the United Nations and with some other countries. Let's look at the case of Igboho's extradition or arrest in Benin Republic, and then the request to extradite him by Nigerian government. Nnamdi Kanu's arrest, abduction, or extradition, as the case might be. You are the legal one, so you tell us what really has been. And that of Abba Kyari now. What is the correlation, and is there any thing we can draw, lesson we can draw from that of Abba Kyari?
Yes, starting from Buruji Kashamu's case. Remember, the government was so much in a hurry to even extradite him without a court hearing. But in the UK, for example, if there's a request for extradition, there must be an extradition hearing in courts to determine the culpability of that person. And then you must also, you know, be able to prove a prima facie case, you know, over there for them to believe that, yes, this person truly had committed an offense, which is like a first information charge that the American government had sent to Nigeria.
Yes.
Then, for the Nnamdi Kanu's case, the question would be, why was Nnamdi Kanu not extradited from the UK long before now? Or was it that the federal government didn't make a request for his extradition? You know, I would want to believe that they did make a request, but they felt that maybe the allegations against him are not offenses, you know, punishable, you know, in their land, and so to them there are no extradition. But in the case of the Kenyan authority, the law is that for you to be extradited it must not be a court. It can either be an immigration officer. If there's a request, the immigration officer can look at your request and then decide, after hearing the other party, to decide whether to accede to that request or not. That's the relationship between Nigeria and most of other African countries.
Okay.
Yeah, but what happens in some cases, the country would request that aside the immigration officer's decision might be tainted, and so they would want to give an opportunity for a court hearing. For the case of Sunday Igboho, in Benin Republic, there are allegations by the government of that country against him. So those are what's in court.
All right, many thanks, Elder Paul, for calling from Edo State. Please go ahead and make your views clear.
First of all, I want to thank you people that making this analysis. It is very, very good. But you know, the problem is that because of the corruption we have in this country, I don't think this Abba Kyari
matter will have a head.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Very straight to the
Thank
point.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
On
Mr.
this
Paul.
note, I think this is where we are wrapping up. I must say thank you so much for coming on the show today. But before we go, I think that I have a little message for Nigerians on this particular saga. I will first refer to the word of Jesus to the people who wanted to stone the prostitute to death. He said that, be the first to cast the stone if ye are sinless. And I think with all what you've shared thus far, with everything that I've been able to pick, that even the lawyers are also intertwined
the judges,
with the judges and all of that. So the fact remains that virtually nobody is perfect in this line of work in this country. And the difference is that our sins, our crime, differ from person to person. And at this junction, I just want to say that the scandal is a shame to his records, but it doesn't take away his merits thus far. I still want to give him a benefit of doubt, pending the full investigation will be out, and to judge people to reflect on the number of good works he has done in the service before the judge and pass comments on him. I believe to every Nigerian out there listening to us, they will agree that he has done a lot of good, and I really don't want to draw too many conclusions on this because I know that the investigation are still ongoing. I can see one of my co-hosts. I can see one of my co-hosts. I can see one of my co-hosts try to give me an opinion.
I think we should.
But you know what? Let's quickly go into trending.
What do you do to be all this?
Let's go into trending. Liberous. Many times, you know, I admire you so much. It's one of the few attorneys in Nigeria that I look up to, that I like. I don't hope that I will have any reason to bring lawyers on my matter, but it will be one of them. So on that note, let's go into the last segment of the show, which is trending story, and this is what affects us all. I know that we've run out of time, but the first trending story that caught our attention is that of a shocking Nigerian boy who was driving truck. So to my surprise, the little boy said he's 13, you know, and for me, it's just abuse.
So you've seen that video, Librous, like she was saying, 13-year-old boy behind the truck and all. I've had to accost a boy who was, in fact, he was a baby, driving a motorcycle, commercial motorcycle, aka Okada. And it was the members of the public who came against me to say, no, leave him. This is what his parents are using to get food and all of that.
Do you know
anything
if
goes.
You take time to do a census, a survey of some of these truck drivers, truck drivers, these lorries, you'll be amazed at the age of some of them, less than 16.
Let's talk about the trailers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Those trailers.
So that's an accident waiting to happen.
Yes.
Going somewhere to happen.
So that's why I said here, there are no rules. Even when there are rules, they are observing breach. And so we always create excuses for such scenarios. You say, oh, look, leave him, his hunger, his poverty. And that's why the VIO man will arrest your vehicle and then leave the downfall that is almost an accident waiting to happen. You know, so until we begin to live by rules, irrespective of who is involved, this will be a child's play. You'll see even worse cases.
So I'm just saying that a 13-year-old child has no business, you know, driving a truck.
Yes, I agree.
And my question now is, when are we going to begin to address the systemic issues in our country?
They will tell you we have more problem at hand than these ones. So that's how we always shift them. You know, they say, oh, is this one your problem? Now we have more problem. If the structures were there, that he won't be doing this.
All right, so for me, I just feel that the adults who did the recording should have engaged them to know more about the parents. That's what came to mind first when I saw the video. And why these 3 young boys who ought to be in schools are out there driving. You know, even though we are on holiday, there are still summer schools out there. So for God's sake, they were not driving for fun. It was obvious that they were hustling.
It was commercial.
You know, and it was commercial. This says a lot about our society. I'm pointing fingers at the adults. And I think that children should be children, and they should be treated as children. This is barbaric. Barbaric is the word that came to mind. We see how underage and subjected children are are being used for domestic house helps. And the age you can get driver license is 18 years of age. I remember when I finished secondary school, when my dad bought me my first car. Do you understand? That was after when I've gained my own, what's it called? Driver's license, you know. And it's sad that we are seeing all of this.
Don't you see little children hawking gala on the street, selling pure water?
Of course.
So that's part of child abuse.
Yes, it's the same thing. And
that's exactly what PK is addressing.
They will tell you that they can't.
What I'll say to Nigerians, if you see this kind of thing, don't only take a video, make an extra effort to stop, you know, the truck and get this truck impounded or the child arrested.
Until you declare free education,
you cannot
and insist, until you declare free education and insist that children of that age must be in school. If you like, take videos and
so what I see also is the fact that Nigeria is not caring enough for the children, and it is
not caring at all. Not even enough.
They are not caring at all. But you know, the preparation for the children's future is at stake here. That's the only thing I see, and you will see that at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of hard job and a lot of things that government have failed upon, you know, and that is exactly the reason why we don't have basic education. We have there are no health policies for children. Even the parents who are supposed to cater for them could either be struggling for work, you know, or they are unemployed, or even jobless. So that's the reason why they will be sending their children out there to do the work. So for me, again, I feel that this is high level of hypocrisy in the sense that, you know, it baffles me that a lot of us, especially adults, will see people like this, and we do not take it upon ourselves to say that, you know what, I want to follow this child home, and that is where the abuse comes in from.
When you are
and this parents, exactly. and I feel that our leaders, I'm sorry to say this, our leaders, you know, some of them most times employ house assistants that are old enough to be their children for those people to serve.
What we also can
children.
do, if you adopt a child and send that child to school, if all of us that are capable, I have adopted some children that I'm training. You know, I have some in Benin, Warrior, and my village. So if you do that, you'll be able to also question why they are not in school. But otherwise...
Do we have a second story?
No, we've run out of time. So I just want to say that this is a shame to our system again, and we failed our children. I hope that the government can rise up to do something and put at least basic amenities and basic education and health for people out there. So on this note, I think this is where we draw the curtains of the show. We say thank you also. It's an honor to have you, and many thanks for always honoring our invitation. I must say that we indeed had an awesome show on the show today. And of course, we had the resourceful guest, Attorney Librous Oshoma. I keep pronouncing that word. Apologies. Thanks for coming again on the show. Of course, to my co-host, thanks for keeping it real as always. And my name remains Kikeloma Tondawa. You are
Marshall Anthony Ononye.
And I am EFO dot.
And you are?
Librous. I'm scared to use the finest man now. The finest, when you had said that, even Wash Puppy was the finest.
Bye-bye.
Many thanks again. Bye, guys. Bye.